Nicole, it's wonderful to be talking to you today. I know it can be hard watching things back as I've talked to many survivors. How are you feeling today about the whole experience?
I feel great, honestly. I had such a fun night last night watching it with my family and my friends and some coworkers. I mean, it was just surreal experience that I got to play, and I'm feeling grateful. And it was a good episode, so I'm pumped, honestly, and I'm happy to be talking with you.
Now, you had absolutely no idea that this blind slide was coming, did you?
Oh, I did. I knew it was between Annie and myself, and I was 50-50 on using my shot in the dark
Right.
at tribal. And then Alex gave me a nod, and I had built what I felt was a good relationship up to that point with Alex. He gave me the nod that I was good, and that 50-50 became more of like a 70-30,
Yeah.
70% not going to use it, 30% going to use it. And so I was a little surprised. Yeah.
Now, of anyone, who do you feel most betrayed by, or if anyone at all?
Honestly, I don't, in the sense that it's a game and someone has to go home first.
Right.
Mm, So I hold no like sense of betrayal or hurt against the vote out. I think um someone had to go, and it just so happened to be me. It was unfortunate. I think they probably felt like they could have leveraged Annie more in a strategic or physical sense, and so I was the vote out. I'm not really sure. But yeah, I would say I would say that.
Now, as we've seen in the past, I mean, when you're in a season of three tribes instead of a season of two tribes,
Mm,
it can be a lot more difficult to maneuver. It can be a lot more difficult to kind of like hide in the background. Do you think that if you were in a bigger tribe that you could have probably been able to um, be more covert, kind of hang back and wouldn't be so much of a target?
yeah, I do. I do think so. I think that
Oh, there we
even there you are. Hey, even if
go.
you had one, even if I had one additional person, I think the dynamic would have been completely different. And Survivor is a game that, like, one relationship, one strategy can implicate your entire game. And so, yes, I do think that if it were a two tribe distribution, or there had been one swap, um, I could have had a completely different game. And I think I just struggled in some way to connect with the people that were on my tribe, as evidenced by my vote out.
Now, again, we don't get to see everything. Back at camp, did you go look for an idol? Was any of that in play? Because again, we don't get to see that. So
Right.
fans don't get to see a lot of what somebody's doing to protect or save themselves.
Right. Yeah, I appreciate the question. Yes, I was looking for idols, and I was strategizing with Alex. I thought that I had a good relationship going with him. I was strategizing with Sophie. Even with Jake, I put a lot of effort into trying to cultivate a relationship with Jake. And so there was a lot of those conversations going on. I also did look for idols whenever I was in the beginning helping to build the shelter. I was looking, and then on day 2 and 3, when I would go to the water well, I went once alone and tried to look, and I ran off. And yeah, there were definitely moments that I was fighting for my safety in ways that maybe didn't translate to the big screen.
Yeah. Well, I asked this of all the survivors because once again, we only see a very small part of your journey. Is there
Yeah.
any- is there anything about your time on the island that you would have wished people would have seen? Or again, especially in your case, was there anything about your story that we didn't get to see?
No, I think I mean yes, sorry. I think just that alliance building, or attempt to build alliances, I would have liked to have been shown, just so that people could see that I was a strategic player
Right,
and I was thinking ahead, or attempting to.
right,
Um and then yeah, I would say that, just that I was trying in that way.
right.
And maybe some additional, maybe like a confessional that explained why I took the helm on the immunity challenges and took the lead on those things, to provide more clarity to the audience. But at the end of the day, people will come to whatever conclusion they want, had I said it or not. So I'm happy with how it went.
Now on your tribe, we got the two Canadians running around. Was there
Yeah.
any, was there that was public, that was out in the open. Was there any kind of like talk behind them, like we got to watch these guys, they could be teaming up? What was the feeling like? What was the feeling like when you guys found that out?
I didn't know that there have only been a handful of Canadians that have played.
Yeah.
And then you have Jeremiah and you have Jake, and they knew that only a handful had played, and so they wore their Canadian roots like with a badge of honor, and I don't blame them for that. But no, I wasn't concerned that they were going to run off and do this whole Canadian alliance or anything like that. They didn't have that sort of bond from my perception at that point in time. And so no, but I remember it being so potent that they were Canadian because Jake said, "Hey, buddy, buddy." I can't do it, but there was a lot of "hey, buddy." So that was great. It was great
and
having them.
and a lot of boot. We do that a lot too.
Exactly, exactly.
Now, again, we saw on the first episode, we saw this edit. Is there anything that you saw or that you know about the Keeley tribe that we should know at home that we haven't got to see?
Just that, like I said, it's a handful. Those people, it was an eclectic group of people. I think that the episode did a good job of portraying that and everyone's kind angle. I think the episode is a good representation of everyone, truly.
Right. Now, here you are thrown onto an island, have to fend for yourself with all these other strangers. What are you taking away from your experience when you came back and you thought about everything you went through? What were some of the things you came back with?
Yeah, I was honestly, it was I felt very content and humbled by the whole experience. Obviously, being the first vote out, it was not on my bingo card at all. But I was humbled and I was like very not at peace after that vote. I was so angry. And then
Right.
when I got home, I was just like, everything happens for a reason. And I'm a big believer in that. And it sounds cheesy, but you just got to kind of lean into these moments when they happen. And that's life, right? Like it's a game. It didn't go my way, or how I wanted it to go. And I wouldn't have changed the way I did it.
Right.
Um, right? Because I didn't do what I did for a certain reason. Um, and so I just feel humbled and like honestly, I keep coming back to this feeling of just like gratitude for the fact that I even got to play
Well,
again.
this is what I always tell people. It doesn't matter in the sense of where you fish when it comes to your contentment in your life, because you
Right.
got to go out there, you got to step on the island. Other people only dream of even just being able to do that. So
Totally.
they would gladly trade places in a bit. But Nicole,
Totally.
it was wonderful watching you. All the best to you in the future. And
Thank you.
who knows, maybe your survivor journey isn't over just yet. You never know.
We'll see. We'll see. I appreciate it, John. Thank you.